this episode, you will hear about the history and how-tos of Project 10. Project 10 is a walkathon and class unity field day that has been fostering joy in my students since 2008. And I believe that it's a program that would be easy to replicate or adapt to fit the needs of many school communities. I'm Liz Landis, and I teach biology and environmental science at Marple Newtown High School in Southeast Pennsylvania. And I'm a 2019 Milken Educator Award recipient. I've wanted to be a teacher for as long as I can remember. So my why story dates all the way back to first grade when I decided I wanted to be a first grade teacher, at least until I got to second grade and changed my mind, deciding I'd rather be a second grade teacher. This pattern continued such that by the time I graduated high school, I felt like I wanted to be a high school biology teacher, but I also realized that I would probably get to college and decide that what I really wanted to be was a college professor. At college, I found the content of advanced biology truly fascinating, but I also realized that for me, the desire to be a teacher was as much about connections as it was about content. I had always been very involved in sports and clubs and other extracurricular activities, and I truly appreciated the teachers who made these programs available. To me, Project 10 is just one of the ways that I feel connected to my school community today. I was really fortunate to start my first job at the same time as Christine Roy, a truly excellent biology teacher who has become my confidant, eventual bridesmaid, and the godmother to my daughter. From the beginning, we've shared resources and worked hard together to plan lessons and reflect on our own strengths and weaknesses, as well as the strengths and needs of our students. One of the needs that we identified early on regarded the lack of a unifying sophomore class experience. It seemed to us that freshmen came into high school kind of bright-eyed through orientation programming and club fairs, and all of their experiences were just kind of shiny and new, whether it be attending football games with their friends or going to dances. Juniors and seniors also seemed to really connect with each other through kind of that shared experience of beginning to look forward to the future. At our school, we already had a junior initiative and senior project program in place, both which were really career-oriented. But there wasn't much for sophomores to look forward to or to do together, and we really wanted to change that. So surprisingly, as we were talking about this, we were invited to a meeting with a very supportive and philanthropically minded administrator who was also interested in bringing a uniquely sophomore program to our school community. As we were all brainstorming ideas, I also had a kind of unique experience in my own classroom that has been one of the most indelible experiences of my career. A student was ill, and I decided that it would be a nice idea to have my sophomore homeroom make some get well cards to bring her joy. I brought in all sorts of different colored paper and markers and stickers. I was really excited about introducing this project to them. But unfortunately, my enthusiasm was not matched by my students. I think I might have actually raised my voice in anger at them as I mandated that no one would be leaving homeroom without making a get well card. In hindsight, it definitely was not one of my proudest moments. And I was feeling really dejected at the end of the period when a young man brought up a piece of orange paper, folded in half. I can still see it today. And he had scribbled "feel better" right across the front in pencil. But when he handed it to me, he said, "Thank you. I feel really good about myself right now. I don't think I've ever done something this nice for another person." I still get choked up thinking about it. In this moment, I realized that there were probably many other students who would benefit from this epiphany that bringing joy to others can bring us joy. By the time I was in high school, I had had so many opportunities to experience the joy that selflessness brings. I went to college and chased this feeling by opting to live in a service learning community where we tutored and ran after school programs in middle school in Philadelphia. I loved serving, and this experience further reinforced my desire to teach. But I realized that I only knew to get involved because I had previously had opportunities to feel really good about myself because I was doing something nice for others. It was from this student's statement that Project 10 took shape, because I recognized the importance of bringing this opportunity, this learning experience, to our sophomore class. Today, Project 10 is a 10-lap walkathon where 10th graders raise $10 for a charity selected by the class and are encouraged to complete 10 acts of kindness from a choice board that we have developed. We schedule the walk for noon and hold a class unity field day at the end to celebrate their accomplishments. We typically begin preparations for Project 10 in March by selecting a 5 to 6 member leadership team. We've toyed with the idea of having students apply for the role, as is done in many student-led organizations within our school, but there's really something about notifying students that they've been nominated that makes it really special and really infuses the process with joy. We also look to select some students who have leadership potential, but who might need that little extra push to feel empowered to step up. And we look for students whose interests align with the interests of the class. The leaders then work together to select charities that they think the class would be interested in supporting. Kind of a positive consequence of this is that the leaders tend to select charities that are really local in scale, and that helps our students feel more connected to the organizations. The leaders then explain the project and present the charity options at a class meeting, and the class votes. We think that having a class vote promotes buy-in, as does the fact that the meeting is 100% run by the student leaders. There's also really nothing like the joy that the leaders feel when the first class meeting's over and it sinks in that they just ran a meeting in front of their entire class. It brings me so much joy to see them feeling pride in their accomplishments. After the meeting, the class begins fundraising while the leaders start planning field day events. This year, our leaders really want to mix things up by planning a spirit week leading up to the event, as has become really popular before big events at our school. However, instead of wearing a Hawaiian shirt on Monday, students might be encouraged to start a conversation with someone who they don't usually talk to. It's our hope that through small acts of kindness, we can spread joy school-wide. I really hope that someone listening can bring some aspect of Project 10 to their school community. I can see Project 10 morphing into Project 3 as third graders walk 3 laps and raise $3 for charity. Or if you have any concern about a fundraiser becoming exclusionary for students, that part can be dropped entirely, and the buy-in to the field day could simply be the completion of a certain number of kind acts. Whatever you decide to take from Project 10, I hope that it will bring you and your students as much joy as it has brought me. Thank you so much for listening and for considering bringing this project to your students.